Rise and shine, wild ones! It's Bernadette. I'm here with your Pick a Card Daily Tarot reading for Saturday, October 17th, 2020. And y'all, I don't even know what's going on this week, but here we have another card, the Elephant, and it is the Justice card in my deck that I read from. And it is another card about seeing the truth. It's another card about cutting through illusions, seeing the truth, um, acting on those truths. There is something going on, y'all, pardon me, in the energies of this week, because this is the third card this week that's had to do with that. We had the owl with the moon. We had coyote earlier in the week. So something, if you're watching this video right now, something is going on where you are being called to see the truth, and it does not get any bigger of a message than an elephant, which is the biggest land mammal on the planet. If that ain't a big message, I don't know what a big message is going to be. So let's talk about that. I love talking about the Justice card, and because the first thing that I love to point out to people is most people mistake the Justice card for being a he, but indeed she is not. If you dig a little farther into esoteric symbolism, you'll come to know the Justice card is sometimes referred to as the Great Mother, the champion, the protector, the disciplinarian of all Earth's children. And, I'm filming this in a time where Ruth Bader Ginsburg just passed away. That is not a political statement. I'm just saying, and please don't have a conversation about politics on my page. Please don't. But she certainly is a woman, and she certainly, was a justice figure. And so here we have Elephant. I'm surprised Elephant didn't show up earlier, but divine timing is part of what the Justice card is all about. So there must be something today that is super important for you about the words justice, about the words universal law, about what's morally right for you, morally wrong for you, and something about you being the Great Mother, even if you're a dude or identify as a dude, which is the same thing. Then there's something about balance and fairness and wrongs being righted that's really important. And y'all, that can be something as simple as, dang it, I meant to get Parmesan cheese for my lasagna and I only got mozzarella. It could be that. But I suspect, because this is the third time that it showed up this week about justice and fairness and truths, that it is much more than that, and only you will know. Now, Saturdays are the third eye chakra day, right? So they're right here. And that's definitely all about seeing truths, and it's all about tapping into universal messages and divine law and all of those things. So even though it sounds a little heavy duty, it's really not. Remember, the ruling planet today is Saturn. So if you're taking the weekend to catch up on work or laundry or homework or whatever, Saturn is a natural kind of taskmaster. We're driven, we're driven, we're driven. That means that even if you're watching, like I love true crime movies and TV shows, right? So you may be driven to find, to put a puzzle together. You may be driven to get to the truth of some kind of much more important matter. Maybe it's your health, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. Maybe it's something somebody else has done, but it's going to be super important today for you to do what an elephant would do, which is open those giant ears and be able to hear. Now, we can hear here, but that's really more symbolic of hearing here. And also, a little known fact about elephants is that they feel vibrations. It's thought, which is a form of communication for them, and it's thought that they feel those vibrations in their bones, and that's how they interpret the vibrations that are coming through, the messages that are coming through. And I don't mean psychically. This is like a really real physical thing for elephants. And you know that saying, I don't know how I knew, but I knew it in my bones that it was going to happen, or it was not going to happen, or this person was going to do this or say this, or not going to do this or not going to say this. This is an all-encompassing third eye chakra day. Feel every truth, feel every message in your bones, in every chakra. It's all about how you feel today. And that doesn't necessarily mean emotions. That can definitely mean just the vibrations. What vibes are you getting today, dude? right? It really can mean that. So when we take a look at the Rider-Waite card, which is, again, I use my own award-winning Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, which is based on the Rider-Waite system, and then, of course, marries all of the magic and medicine of the animal allies with it. When we take a look at the traditional Rider-Waite Justice card, remember that it's a major arcana card. And the major arcana is all about our trip through the hero's journey. It's all about each arcana card is the character that comes out to, it's what's happening. It's a map of the workings of our human mind. You're going to meet all these characters, all these archetypes on the way through. And when you get to the Justice card, it comes on the heels of the Hermit, which is a little bit warning about danger. And then, of course, on the Wheel of Fortune that shows that everything has already been set into place. But then the Justice card comes, and it might be that there's an important insight that's coming to you that's going to make everything that you've been through, or everything that you've been through and know that you're going to be going through, make perfect sense in your mind. Now, if you take a look at the Justice card, know that she's sitting there with a sword. And anytime you see a sword in the tarot, that should be your alert that it is a double-edged sword. There are two sides to every story. When it comes to morals and ethics and, how people think about that and their opinions about that, there are two sides to everything. If you take in it, for example, respect is something that can be earned. It's something that can be lost. And so natural or universal laws preserve the balance. They preserve the equilibrium. And it's that which is necessary to keep things in the universe moving ahead, moving ahead, moving ahead. Now, when you take a look at the pillars that the Lady Justice is sitting between, they're gray because cosmic principles are eternals. They're eternal. And those, just like the High Priestess card, those pillars have been called severity and mercy. And both are necessary because, again, dropping the hammer on somebody for every little quote unquote infraction, that's equally as unhelpful as letting people or the world just use you as a doormat. And though human justice can be blind, divine justice sees everything. And that's why the crowned figure on the Justice card cannot be hoodwinked. You cannot get anything over on this woman. And she does take into consideration more than just the facts. It's not judging everything or everyone just with a straight up, these are the facts, these are the rules, and that's the way it is. It's a case by case by case, judging it on its own merit. And that's really important for today because when you are starting to want to see the truth of things and you've opened up your third eye to see the truth of things, it's going to be important for you to take everything one on its own merit. The devil is in the details, and make sure that you're looking at all those details and you're not just painting everything, with a wide brush, that saying that they have. So when you take a look at the robe, it is yellow and red, and that's balancing of love and reason. And the rose-colored veil, it conceals most of the yellow, which is the air element, which is intellect. And then you've got the crown, which is the azure crystal, which is all about intellect and authority and divine mercy. But be clear, just because somebody is merciful, that does not mean that you have to be afraid to use the sword. And that is obviously a metaphor, obviously. But sometimes tough love, like we talked about literally just yesterday with the owl and the moon, sometimes that tough love, that tough judgment, there really is such a thing as tough mercy. You remember that a sword can be used to consecrate or it can be used to destroy. So only you are going to be able to decide, are you going to fell the hammer and will it be swift and true when you do that? When you use a sword, basically what's happening is you're cutting through the rhetoric, you're cutting through the chaos, and you are seeking the pinnacle, you're seeking the apex. The Justice card is very closely tied with Libra, the zodiac sign Libra, the cosmic peacemaker, right? And so sometimes you do have to just You know, it's like if everything is running chaos in your house, you know, your kids are bringing the ruckus, or you got animals and they're bringing the ruckus, and sometimes you just have to raise your voice a bit and go, everybody stop. You know, nobody wants to hear that tone in somebody's voice. Nobody wants to have to raise their voice, but everybody stops because you don't use that very often. And then you can just start doing things one piece at a time. I've owned my own business for many, many, many years, and I've had clients for many, 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 many years. I call myself the spin doctor because somehow, if freelancers, employees, clients, God knows if they're in a spin, they're going to find me. And I'll wait for them to spin a little bit, and then I'll go stop. And they'll keep spinning. I'll go stop. And then I'll go stop, 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 stop. And they think I'm mad at them at the beginning. I'm not. I'm just trying to get them attention to get them to stop. And I'll go, look, you're in a spin. Let's compartmentalize this. Take a deep breath. Let's take this one section at a time. And I have to do the same thing to myself. Y'all, I drink way too much iced tea. And that just, plus my own natural proclivity for my mind just races with ideas and stuff and stuff and stuff. I just have to say to myself sometimes, just stop. And that's what you're being called to do today. Just stop. Let the sword fall where you think it should fall. Understand that you're going to want to collect all of your facts, all of your wisdom. You're going to want to see it here. You're going to want to feel it everywhere, because you're going to get that crucial information that you need to make the right decisions for yourself today, this very day. That's that. Okay? Now, if we want to talk about Elephant, how does Elephant fit into this? Well, you know, she is just the most ancient, enduring spirit of sacred femininity, family values, loyalty, gentility, refinement. She is just distinguished in so many ways. Every culture just sees her as the most adept sorcerer and mystical, magical chieftain mother who inspires devotion, who inspires people to rise to greater heights, to just connect with their ancestors. I mean, she is a time honored animal spirit guide, maybe one of the most time honored. And she's all about family. You know, interestingly enough, baby elephants can walk long distances within 2 hours of being born. Now, that is some kind of feat of nature. But what that does is it allows the herd, the whole herd, to keep moving, because elephants will spend about 3/4 of their day eating. They need that much food and water that literally 3/4 of their lives are spent eating and foraging for food. So their towering stature lets you know that whatever is coming to you today, especially if it has to do with family, it's really of great importance. It's big. And that, whatever big means for you or your family, maybe you've lost touch with your family. Maybe you purposefully lost touch with your family or got out of touch with your family. Is it still the right thing to do? Is it still healthy for you? Is it still healthy for them? Take a look at that. You know, maybe you've got a loved one or a friend or a colleague or whatever that's withdrawn a bit, and they've really kind of made themselves very solitary and singular. Is it time for you to be the great Earth Mother and coax them out of their cave? Maybe you've got someone else who you've been just sitting back watching, and they're in a spin. They are just in their own self-made cyclone of thoughts and feelings, and they're so caught up in the commitment to feel those negative things and to see things from a negative perspective, to not find solutions. They very, very, very well could be victim mentality people that just cling to being a victim. And y'all, let me tell you something. It, it can be a very elusive thing to see, because you can have some of the strongest, most successful people that you would never ever imagine that are victim mentality people, but they are. And you'll know it because you can see the threads. You can see, well, God, they have all this going for them, and they've achieved this, and they do this, and they appear this, but there's always something amiss in this area. In this area, it always seems to be whatever, whatever. A lot of people are like that about money. Man, they can be like the nicest people in the world, the this, the that. They're kind, they're empathetic. I mean, the Lord, they just look like, Mother Teresa and an elephant rolled up all in one, right? But then you can't figure out why they live hand to mouth, why they cannot rise out of poverty. And I don't mean like just paycheck to paycheck. I mean like slap old poverty where every third week they're having to try to borrow money. They're having to try to sell their pawned off TV anyway. And that's a victim mentality. Maybe you've got somebody for whom romantic relationships just never seem to work out. And you're thinking, God, this person has it all. What is the drama? A victim mentality. They're doing something to shoot themselves in the foot. Make no mistake. And you might be able to help them see the truth of that and move out of that because you are Lady Justice and you are the sacred feminine of the great Earth Mother, which is Elephant. And you may need to be doing that for yourself. Remember, Saturday is about seeing truths, but it's also about acting on them. And you know that with Elephant behind you, you're going to have all the strength you could ever possibly need. Your family is your sacred history. And it's not just the family in this life, but what of your family? Do you look at your son and just know that you know that you know that you know that he was a son also in another life, or maybe he was your dad in a life and you were a daughter in this life, or you meet somebody at work and you're like, I know that person was like my second cousin once removed, or whatever. Those familial relationships can be a lot of different things and you can meet them at a lot of different times. As big and as powerful as elephants are, remember there is tremendous power in remaining soft-hearted. I just honor a lady one time, or I honor a lady. Ooh, I'm gonna get choked up about her. She, when my mom passed, or was killed, I should say, she, I started dating her son, and that didn't work out so well. But I kept up a relationship with her for many, many years, unbeknownst to her family, because we just loved each other. And oh, how she wished I had stayed and married her son. Oh, how she wished it. And she knew exactly why I left him and told me so. But I never saw one person. Ooh, I never saw one woman. She wasn't a doormat. It wasn't that she was afraid to step up and cut the nonsense. It's that she just had such love for her family and love for people. She was like, it's okay. I know what's going on, but it's okay. She always used to say that, Bernadette, I know what's going on, but it's okay. And God, if I didn't watch a billion people that passed in and out of her life become better people for how she treated them, even when she didn't realize it at the time. And she always reminded me, she used to do her hair over her ears. My God, she was the most petite, sweet, beautiful, blue-eyed, silver-haired, just etheric woman. But her ears, Lordy be, that woman had some ears. And she was very self-conscious about them. And it wasn't until after she passed and I really got into the spirit totem and power animal thing that I realized she was the elephant mother in my life. So there you go. Oh my God. So emotional when I talk about her. But anyway, so honor her today, even though I can't mention her name. Her family would be so embarrassed to have anything to do with the woo-woo. She wouldn't. She always thought it was really cool. We used to talk about it in private. But so honor your family today. Be an earth mother. Be a divine, sacred, feminine force in the world today. Be Lady Justice today. Whether it's for yourself or it's someone else, do that. And such amazing things are going to come from it. Remember, consider both sides. You've got a sword. It's a double-edged sword. And above all, be willing to make your commitments and make your decisions and stand by them whatever comes, because that's what justice and moral, not moral so much as universal law, is all about. Once that wheel is set in motion, be sure that you're willing to abide by whatever motion and other things that brings, weather whatever storms. You may not make the perfectly right decision, but you'll be farther ahead than most because you will have made a decision and you will be moving forward. And if it turns out to be not the best decision, that's okay, because you can make a different decision tomorrow. Once those consequences have come, once you see the fallout, the layout, the lay of the land, and again, it doesn't have to be all dun, 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 because it's not. this will better prepare you for anything that could be coming, whether it's a this big or it's a ginormous thing like an elephant. It's still going to be very important in your life in some way, even if it doesn't strike you as huge today. So I hope that was helpful. Happy Saturday. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. And above all, you guys, no matter what else or who else is going on in your life, you've got to live with a free spirit. So what is the most important thing today? To stay wild.